If, like me, you're a fan of push your luck and or deck builders, the Quacks of Quedlinburg by prolific game designer Wolfgang Warsch should make your dreams come true. If you've always wanted to make it in the high-intensity, high-stakes game of potion making, you should watch this video to find out why you should play the Quacks of Quedlinburg. You play as miracle cure doctors, or quacks, who have travelled to the city of Quedlinburg for its annual 9-day bazaar. Here you're trying to peddle your miracle cures, attempting to create the best potions and earn the most amount of money and prestige along the way. With all your hard-earned money, you can buy even juicier ingredients, which will help you up your potion game with every future brew. Play happens simultaneously, so you're all drawing ingredients out of your bags at random at the same time. And along the way, you're trying to avoid these dreaded cherry bombs, too many of which will explode your pot, ruin your potion, and potentially lose you out on some precious prestige points, which you have to have the most of at the end of the game to win. They're essentially like victory points. Your bags all start with the same set of ingredients: a bunch of cherry bombs, a green garden spider, and an orange pumpkin. It all then comes down to luck of the draw, knowing how far to push that luck, and how you decide to fill your bags with the different ingredients you can buy along the way. Throughout the game, you're drawing ingredients from your bag and adding them to your pot. These dreaded cherry bombs I was just talking about, they come with different numerical values on them, 1, 2, and 3. If your cherry bomb count in your pot goes to 7 or below, you're still safe. If your cherry bomb count goes above 7, however, your pot explodes, and this is when you need to make a decision between taking money or victory points. At the beginning of the game, the choice is a little bit easier. You're probably going to go for money because that allows you to buy more ingredients and improve your bag and hopefully draw less cherry bombs in future draws. Another reason you may want to stop drawing and avoid exploding your pot is that the person who gets the furthest along the potion track in their pot and who hasn't exploded gets to roll the bonus die. The bonus die will give you several things like 1 or 2 victory points, a pumpkin chip to put into your bag, a chance to move your droplet forward on your board, or a ruby. Now, while it isn't the end of the world when your pot explodes, it can be a bit disappointing, but that's the whole greatness of the game. Is you want to push your luck and you want to see how far you can get, how far along that track you can get without exploding. This is, to a certain extent, a game of probability. Although you can never look into your bag, you should have a very rough idea of what ingredients you've been buying along the way, and you'll always know how many white chips you've got. So when it comes to that moment when you're feeling in your bag and you can feel that you've got 8 chips in there, and you know that only one of those could possibly cause your pot to explode, so you think to yourself, there's only a 1 in 8 chance here that this could go wrong for me. The odds are in my favor. I should probably keep going. Let me tell you something. The odds don't care about you. They will rip your heart out, stomp on it, and then spit in your face for thinking that you could outsmart them. I can't tell you how many times I thought the odds were stacked in my favor, and then that wily wench betrayed me. And to be honest, that's where a lot of the excitement in this game comes from. Unlike a dice rolling or card-based push your luck game, you're almost feeling around the bag until you find that one chip that feels nice, feels like a good chip. You trust it. Once you've decided to stop adding ingredients to your pot, you get to look at the space next to the one where you place your last chip to see what you receive. If that space shows a ruby, you get a ruby! Then you get to take victory points equal to the number in the brownish box, and finally you get to spend your money on more ingredients. If your pot has exploded, you still get the ruby, but you'll have to make a choice between money and victory points. Quacks comes with these little ingredient books for every ingredient in the game. They tell you the cost of each chip and what each chip does, either as and when it's played into your board or at the end of the drawing phase. The extra yummy thing about these is that for most of the ingredients, they are double-sided. And for some ingredients, there are even more books that are also double-sided. That as well as the fact that the player board is double-sided, allowing for more advanced play, makes this game super dynamic, incredibly modular, and so replayable that I just can't stop playing it. There are several ingredients available for you to buy, from one of my favorites, this yellow mandrake, to this crow skull, to this African death's head hawk moth. That is genuinely what it's called. Rubies are an interesting addition to the game too. They can be a bit harder to get your hands on, the main ways being of either landing on a space that has a ruby on it, or through chips whose special abilities give you rubies. They can be spent on two things in the base game, but two pretty important things. Option 1 is moving your droplet forward in your pot, improving your future brews. Option 2 is refilling your flask if your flask has previously been emptied. Which brings me nicely on to the use of the flask. Everyone starts the game with a full flask. You can use it during the potion making portion of the game. Essentially, if you've drawn a white cherry bomb chip, you can decide to put it back into your bag as long as it hasn't caused your pot to explode, and if you do so, you need to flip your flask to the empty side and use the said rubies to refill it at a later point. Every player starts the game with one of these cute little rat guys who sits in a little rat bowl when you're not using them. When you're doing the scoring for any given round, you'll notice that there are rats climbing all around the edge of the scoreboard. At the beginning of a new round, you go ahead and count the rat tails between yourself and the player in the lead, and you get to place your rat token into your pot that many spaces ahead of the droplet. This acts as a little catch-up mechanic, because it means that you get to place your ingredients starting with the rat as a starting point instead of the droplet. It means that there's actually something quite exciting about being last. The fortune teller cards that one person draws and reads at the beginning of each round is an interesting addition too. They vary from actions that take place right away to ones that last throughout the round to ones that get resolved at the end of the round. Some of them are beneficial to all players, like allowing you to take the first white chip you draw and put it back into your bag. Others are a nice little catch-up mechanic, like doubling the number of rat tails for a round, which is only beneficial to those not currently in the lead. There are about 24 of them in the game, which allows you to get through about 2.5 games before you even start coming across familiar ones. And even then, the different combinations of them and the order in which they come up will always add for a nice bit of variety. The quality of this game's components are incredible too. I mean, look, they've literally thought of everything. Look at this player board. They've got a little pouch that holds your rubies, to the little bowl where your rat guy lives when he's not in play, to the silver plate that holds your flask. I love the attention to detail in this and how they've really taken the theme and run with it. This was one of those games where someone suggested we play it, and I looked at the box and I thought, really? I don't think this is going to be my kind of game. I mean, where are the spaceships? Can I screw with you? No? Then I'm okay, thanks. But we played it, and honestly, I've been hooked ever since. I loved it so much that we played it again straight away. It's even one of those games that my non-gamer friends really enjoy playing, despite there being a bit to get your head around at the beginning. If there's anything negative to say about this game, and I haven't quite gotten to it with my own copy yet, but I've seen some people complaining about the longevity of the cardboard chips, especially the white cherry bombs, which, as you can imagine, will get quite gross after a while. There are beautiful plastic Geeko bits available, which I've been eyeing myself, if I'm honest, but at $42 for the set, that's more than I spent on the entirety of the game, as pretty as they are. If despite all the ways to modify the game already, you're still looking for a way to change things up, you can also get the Her Witches expansion. This allows you to add a 5th player, gives you even more double-sided ingredient books, gives you the Her Witches, which allow you to do 3 special actions throughout the game, and gives you an overflow bowl, which, to be honest, I wasn't that keen on when I played with it. But I guess it's better than getting to the end of the pot and not being able to add anything more. If any of this sounded mildly interesting to you, you should give this game a go. Honestly, I've yet to meet anyone who doesn't like it. It is quite simply a crowd pleaser. Thank you very much for watching this Why You Should Play. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't quite jumped out of your seat to go play Quacks quite yet, you can check out more of our videos, which should be popping up at the bottom of the screen right about now. If you'd like to be notified of any future videos we've got coming up, you can always hit the subscribe button, which should be in the middle of the screen. And if you'd like to be notified through the bell button, you can always hit that too. As per usual, most importantly, have a lovely day.